Let's start with Git and GitHub then. Okay. So anyone who's having idea, who is the author of Git? Who developed Git? Linus Torvalds. Now what else he has developed? He is known for what? Linux. So even Linux is a open source project which could be in which like you can collaborate using Git and GitHub. So what exactly Git and GitHub is, we'll be seeing in today's class. We'll understand Git and GitHub from the Android's perspective. Look, Git and GitHub is something which is very profound. Like it is something which is having a lot many details into it. So we won't be going into much of those details because obviously we would be sticking to only those things which we will be requiring for submission of our project and for collaborating in different projects. That is educate at this moment. And moreover, like when you will be going to company, obviously at that point you'll be having huge amount of exposure to Git and GitHub. But I hope like after having today's lecture, even you will be able to work at that time also. Here's the definition of Git. First of all, you need to understand Git and GitHub are two different things. Obviously, when the words are different, so they need to be different. So let's start with Git. They are not synonymous to each other. First doubt is this, like many people think that they are synonymous to each other. They are not synonymous to each other. They both are different entities. Now, first thing which says that Git is a distributed version control system. In order to understand this, let's break the words. So let's start from the first one, that is distributed. What happens generally is, let's say you are a software developer. Now what happened? You're working on some project, let's say ABC. Now what you did, there is something called as, let's say, there's something known as Dropbox. Or let's say there's something called as a drive. Right, now what happened? After completing the project, what you did, you just shared the project on this Dropbox. You got a URL. Now using this URL, let's say some other person will be able to get your code. Am I clear, guys? Now what was happening? Similarly, there would be plenty other students also. He might be also working on some project, let's say BCD. So there is one server. Guys, don't go by the terms. In reality, there would be plenty of servers, but these servers are behaving as a central node over here. So there might be one server. For example, if we take the example of Google. So you are a person, you are giving some queries to Google and Google is returning you the answer. Similarly, there might be plenty of people who would be doing the same thing, right? So don't you think a circle is getting formed and the center of this node is a server? So this is more of a client server model in which what happens, all the client's data gets recorded to a single server, to a single node. Telling a node is a better thing rather than telling a server, because there might be plenty of servers which are connected together and they might be behaving as a single server, as a single node. So what the thing is, so obviously all the data was getting stored at a single place, all the user related data. So this was something which was called a centralized way of storing data, distributed. Now what happens in Git? This is the programmer. There would be again a server, but difference this time would be this programmer would be writing certain code. Let's say he's writing some code in Android Studio. Now what will happen? The same copy, for example, if he's writing a certain application on Android Studio, this application would be stored on his computer in some local repository. Repository is a place where you store a code. Am I clear? Now what will happen? When you store this data on certain server, what will happen? Again, he'll be able, like his program will be stored on this remote server also. So this would be a remote repository. So for same program, two repositories are being created. One is the local repository and another is the remote repository. Now what happens? Let's say if this server fails, so obviously he'll be having his local repository. So anytime he can get his local repository in his Android Studio and he could work with it. Apart from that, let's say there is no internet connection. Still, he can use his local repository to get all the code. Now, this is something which happens in the case of Git. So the same piece of code is not centralized on just one server. It is available on the server also, and it is available in form of a local repository. And then there is something called as a working copy also. So that's the reason we call it as a distributed system. So I hope distributed and system is clear to you. So let's move further then. Now, the big question is, what is version control? For explaining this, I'll again take an example. Let's say you are the app developer of Instagram. I hope you all have used Instagram. It's a social platform application which is more of a photo repository. Am I right? Now, what happened? If you all remember, like I hope like you all are connected to Instagram from last 5 or 6 years, right? So you must have seen the development, the huge amount of development which has been done in terms of Instagram. So my topic is not Instagram. The reason my topic of my focus is on the development which Instagram has gone through. So if you all remember, initially Instagram was very simple. Simple in the sense it was just used for sharing pictures and all those stuff, right? For actually it was having some kind of gallery and like people used to upload pictures, filters and all those stuff. Later on, what happened? Snapchat was the first one, I guess, who brought stories, right? A concept called stories was there on Snapchat. As far as my knowledge is concerned, Snapchat was the first one to bring out stories, right? In terms of app. Now what happened? Let's say Instagram's first version was 1.1. Later on, they found that their analytics team researched on different applications and they found that Snapchat is getting more popular. The reason is because of stories and also because of that story, like those photo bombs, right? What happened? They immediately released a new version 1.2. Now, the 1.2 version was having stories also. Now, let's say later on at some stage, they brought some more features to it. They added some more filters, 1.3. Now, what happened? These filters were not getting good response from people. And moreover, just imagine that even the stories, snapshot stories, were not getting good response from people. So what they decided? They decided, let's go with 1.1. Now, just imagine a situation if Instagram is daily making a new version and it's been around, let's say, around 720 days since the development of Instagram began. So that means in their computer systems, they would be having 720 versions. Now just imagine the complexity, guys. If just one version is around 2 GB, so just imagine the complexity of storing so many versions at one place, at one central node. So managing these versions is quite difficult. But Git has a solution for you. What Git does is, Git just says you don't have to worry anything. You being a programmer, just write your code. Just let me know when you are starting a new version. For example, let's say Instagram developers started writing a code, and let's say they introduce Instagram story, like let's say they introduce Snapchat stories into Instagram. So what happened? They informed Git that this is the second version. That's it. Programmer just has to inform that I'm starting the second version. That's it. Now, if even if you're having 1000, 2000, or 5000 or 5 lakh versions of your application, Git will automatically manage them for you. Now, how it will manage, that is something which we'll be seeing sooner in this lecture itself. But I hope you got the meaning of distributed version control system. And since you can move to any version at any point of time, that is the reason you can also control different versions of your application or of your code. Now, this is an acronym which might be having many full forms, right? What is SCM? Source, code, and what does AM stands for? Management. So Git is also a platform where you could manage your source code. So Git is not just restricted to a single language or C language or Java, but you can write the code in almost all kind of language on Git. Because and you'll see how it actually gives how it is useful for managing the source code. So after this, let's move further. So I hope the first 2 points are clear to you. Let's move to third thing. That is, it's like subversion. So just like Git is not the first technology of its own kind. We also have something called a subversion. So even subversion is like Git only, but the difference between both of them is it's centralized and Git is distributed. So after that, for working with remote repos, we need GitHub or Bitbucket. Now what happened? This is all clear that the developer was maintaining a local repository on his system for his working copy, right? And then he was also uploading the same code on certain server. Am I clear, guys? So since this is on his own system only, let's see, this is his own system. So obviously he will be able to access it. Am I clear? He was using Git. He was using Git for making this local repository, for adding his code to local repository, and for pushing his code to the remote repository. Again, he was using Git only. This is all clear that the local repository is there on his own system, so he can access it at any time. But what about the remote repository? Sir, how can we access it? So big question is, if you're having certain data for actually accessing any data on Google server, how would you access it, guys? What you will do, you'll open certain web page or certain application, and inside that web page or web application, what you'll do, you'll just type your query. And once the query is submitted, what will happen? The data from server will be fetched and it would be shown to you in terms of different results. You have all the data stored in on some remote repository. To visualize the data, to see the data in real, what you have to do, there's something called as a web interface. This web interface is GitHub. Now, just like GitHub, we have Bitbucket also. Obviously, if there is something like there could be an Android application for Google search, there could be even an iOS version of there could be an iOS version of Google search. Are you getting it? There could be plenty of applications just for accessing a single bit of data which is stored on some remote repository. Now GitHub, that's what I said, you guys. It's a web-based Git platform. GitHub is a hosting service for Git repository. This is a new feature, guys. You can also host your website, like you can also host your applications these days on GitHub now. So they are not the same thing. Git is the tool and GitHub is a service for the projects that use Git. So the first step is you have to go to github.com and register yourself. The moment you'll click on the register tab or create a new account, you will find this form over there. Now, the reason why I'm guiding you through this form is username. Guys, a humble request to each one of you, when you're writing a username, when you're creating a new username on GitHub, ensure that you're creating a username which is sober and sophisticated, because this username is something which you would be sharing with companies. And just by your GitHub link, a person could introspect into your profile and could get into your profile and could see what all things, how good you're at development, or like how much development things you have done in the past. After that, you have to choose certain email address and password. Another thing, remember the email address and password. It is very, very important, because the same thing would be required while you're pushing some code from your ID, or let's say from some console to GitHub. So this is what this is all about it. So you have to fill these fields. After that, next step says that. So like this is a sample one in which like they have filled up the fields. If you want to read the terms of service, you can do it. Since I've copied this from WikiHow test, so this is what like the default one of WikiHow. After that, the second one says that choose your plan. Now, the reason why I'm putting this is like GitHub. You can GitHub, when it comes to GitHub, so actually there are two different ways in which you can use it. Something called as public and another is called private. For example, it's clear that you are creating a remote repo. This developer pushed some remote repo on GitHub. Now what will happen? This remote repo could be seen by other developers also. Obviously it could be. Is it clear, guys? It could be easily visible to even other developers if it is public in nature. If you'll make it private, then these developers won't be able to view your repository. After that, you just have to choose your plan. So you will be going with a public one because private repositories are charged on GitHub. There is something called Bitbucket. If you want to make a private repository so that other people cannot use your code, so you can use Bitbucket. Bitbucket offers public repository at $0. So you can create a private repository at Bitbucket. So it is similar to GitHub. Last thing is tailor your experience. You have to just fill up these checkboxes and radio buttons. That's it. So we are done with GitHub. Now the next thing is you have to move with the installation of Git. So I'll just take you to the Chrome. Before that, I want to show you the difference between Git and GitHub. Here's a table which shows difference between Git and GitHub. Just see it. First step you have to do is just open github.com. So as I said, you just have to register yourself. So I hope you all will be able to register yourself. Next thing is install Git. So just go over here and download Git. The first link which you'll find over here, just click on this. Now, depending upon your system, if you're using Mac OS, it is generally Git is something which comes pre-installed. If you're using Linux, you need to install it using the pip terminal. That is from terminal itself. And if you're using Windows, then you have to download the Git and you have to install it as well. So just click on this download, go with the default setup, that's it. And once the Git gets downloaded and installed perfectly, you don't have to do anything else. Just download it. Whatever the package gets downloaded, install it. The moment that go with defaults, the moment the installation gets completed, if you want to check whether installation has been done properly or not, go to command prompt, type git minus minus version. So since in my computer Git is already installed, it is showing me the version of Git. In your computer, initially it won't be showing any version, but the moment you install Git, you would be equipped with some kind of version number. So now what I'll do is I'll just take you straight away to GitHub. Now what will happen once the setup is completed, once you have done all the stuff, you'll be guided, you will be shown something like this. So all my repositories are over here. Obviously it is not showing private repositories out here, but all my repositories are given over here. So all these are the projects, small and big projects. So apart from that, so these repositories are the ones which are there on GitHub. So I'm using GitHub and I've logged into my account, and over here I can see all my repository. Now, if you want to create a repository, steps is simple. Just go to this new, just click on this plus and new repository. Now you have to provide certain name of your repository. So what I'll do, I'll just give a name such as ABC. After that, description of some repository. So this is for teaching. That's it. Now public or private. So I'll go with public only. Now you can also initialize the repository with a README file. For this moment, I don't require it. So I'll go with default one and I'll go create repository. That's it. Now my repository is clear. Now whatever code I will be adding over here, if I want to share that code with anyone, what I have to do is I have to just copy this link and I have to give that link to that person. And he'll be able to view the code, and not only view the code, but he'll also be able to contribute to the code. Next thing is, now there are plenty of commands which are written over here. Create a new repository in the command line if you're using command line. So what I'll do is just minimize all these things over here. Now what I'll do is I'll create a new folder over here. Let's name this folder as source code. Inside this folder, let's say I'm having this hello world program. I'll just copy this hello world program and I'll paste this inside this source code folder. Let's say I'm having a folder on my system. It could be any folder. It could also be the folder in which you are currently making your Android projects. So let's say I'm having a folder named as source code in my desktop or anywhere in my system, and I added a file name as hello world. Now just look at the steps which you need to follow to put the file on local repository and private remote repository. So I'll just click on this source code. I'll right click, and over here you can see there is something called git GUI here and git bash here. So you have to click on git bash here. I'll click on git bash here. Now, for the first time users, the moment this screen will open, you have to enter two commands. For the first time users, you have to enter these two commands. Only for the first time users. Remember this thing, guys. The first command says that git config -- global user.name and your GitHub's username. After that, git config, after you'll press enter, then again you'll be guided to shell and you have to type git config -- global user.email and your email ID which you used while registering yourself at GitHub. You are having a local repository would be created over here, and then you want your remote repository to be created on GitHub. There are millions of profiles on GitHub. How will the Git system will know whether this repository needs to be connected to your GitHub profile only? So for ensuring that, what I'll do, I'll just write these two commands. So the first command says the username, your GitHub, the username which you used on GitHub while registering, and also your email ID which you used on GitHub. We have just discussed two commands which are just used for configuring your bash terminal with your GitHub profile. Is the concept clear, guys? You don't have to repeat these steps every time you're pushing code. This is only the first time when you are having a piece of code and you want to push it to GitHub for the first time. After that, you don't have to repeat these two steps. So I'll just go back to my console. And now you have to assume that I have already configured my terminal because I already did that. The first command is, if you want to write these commands, you can write it. Otherwise, you don't have to even chalk them down, because obviously, I'll just show you. Every time you'll create some repository, GitHub will give you these commands. All these commands will be conveyed to you every time. But if you remember these commands, then it's a good practice. The first thing which I need to do is I'll just put git init. It says that initialized empty git repository in C drive and whatever, like this is the, so this is the path of my folder. So what I'll do, I'll just open this folder for you. This was my folder. I'll just open this. Can you all see a hidden folder has been created, which is called .git. Now this is actually the inspector of Git. Now this would be acting as my local repository. So this is my working copy, and this is the local repository. So it will actually have a traceback copy of my local working copy, and all the changes which I'll make into this, all these changes will be recorded by this .git folder. There are plenty of things which are there inside this. So the command git init resulted into the creation of this folder. So obviously now Git will know that I have to maintain a local repository for this working piece of code. Am I clear?